Greetings, flower lovers. This is Estere, and you've reached the Flower Channel. Thanks so much for joining me today to soothe your soul and warm your heart with the beauty and healing magic of flowers. Today I'm going to be making a pumpkin centerpiece, and I'm going to be showing you all the different materials I'm going to be using. I'm going to just lay them all out so you can see them. We have a chrysanthemum from the garden, rose hips. I have some PG hydrangeas. I have some ivy. Fresh ivy, a little lamb's ear, and some asters, the autumn asters. So, as you can see, I am ready for Halloween. I have my kitty ears on, and if you're going to be doing a pumpkin arrangement, get into costume, have fun with it. This is your project. This is your fun arrangement, and you can make a big mess. We're going to make a really big mess today, so get ready for that. So I'm going to take all the materials off the table for now, and we're going to be working on just preparing the pumpkin to receive these beautiful flowers. Important with the pumpkin arrangement, I'm going to be putting a piece of plastic down. And you'll see why in a moment. This is just a big plastic bag. When I'm done with it, I can wash it off and use it for something else. I am very big on recycling and trying to use whatever I use for flower arranging, use it as in many ways as possible. So I got this pumpkin at the side of the road. A little family that was growing pumpkins, and it's a little odd, funky shape, but I like it. Choose one that you like. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the top off, and we're going to scoop out the seeds from the inside. And this is really the best part. You don't want to miss this part. Now, if you're carving a pumpkin so that you're going to see all the parts of it, you might want a decorative cut here, but I'm just creating an opening that I'm going to stick a little vase in. So I want to make sure that the opening is big enough, and I'm going to be using my florist knife for this. Be really careful. You want to dig in there, make a nice cut, and again, we're really just using the base of the pumpkin as the centerpiece. So you want to make sure that your opening is big enough where you'll be able to stick in a container that's going to hold water, and then the flowers are going to go in that. Okay, so here's my top. Here's my lid. Okay. And now this is the best part. You want to get right in there. Get right in there and get those seeds out. You can, I'm going to roast these seeds and eat them. So these are all edible. Everything in a pumpkin is edible. And it feels really good in there. It's just, this is part of the pleasure of working with natural materials, is you want to touch them. And that's part of the super fun. And, you want to, get in touch with your inner 5-year-old right now and just dig around in there. It smells really good. It smells like autumn, smells like pumpkins, and you want to really get all the mush out. You want to get all this part out, because maybe this arrangement's going to last a couple of weeks, so you don't want the inside of the pumpkin getting too funky. Okay, so I'm just going to smush all this out. You might have to get in there with a spoon. This doesn't actually have that many seeds, so pretty much cleaned out right now. Let's take a look at that. Okay, we have a hollow space right in there. I might use this for something else, so I'm going to take like this, and cut all this out, so that again, you want to get all that kind of stringy stuff off, because that's the part that's going to get funky as it starts to mature. Okay, so that's my lid. And you know, with a pumpkin, how cute is the lid? So cute. Sometimes it has a curly top. If you can get one with a curly top, that's even cuter. That's cute. Okay, so this is, and I'm gonna clean this off, put it all in a bowl, because I'm going to roast these. I'm gonna put them in my colander, because I'm gonna wash them off, and then I'm gonna put them on tin foil in my toaster oven and bake them at 350 for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'm going to eat them because they're really good. Any seeds from plant material, very delicious to eat. Squashes, pumpkins, and you'll be happy that you have this plastic down, because we're going to make a little more mess. That's all we're going to do with the knife right now, so you want to put that off to the side. Give your hands a good wash, because I'll tell you, with pumpkins have an alkaloid in them, and they're going to make your hands turn kind of orangey and maybe get kind of sticky feeling, and then they kind of dry. And that's what, you know, because they make face products, skin products out of pumpkin, because they do pull a lot of toxins out of your skin. So you're going to be noticing that on your hands as well. So I have a good opening, Arthur, thank you. And I want to put a vase in here, a container. You can use a jar. Let's see if this one fits. This one doesn't fit. That one's going to fit perfect. That's a Bon Maman jelly jar. Stick it right in there. And that's going to be our container. You don't want to put water right directly in here. The pumpkin's going to absorb it, and then it's going to turn to mush. Don't want that. Put your vase in there. You might also use a little plastic container. We just want something that holds water. So my Bon Maman jar works perfectly. Get some of my tools over here. Get some of these pumpkin seeds out of the way. All right, and let's put some water right in that vase. Now remember, this particular pumpkin I'm going to be using as a centerpiece, but you can, meaning it's going to be on a table, but you could also use this as like on a buffet. Make a big piece out of it too. As long as you keep adding water to this vase, whatever plant materials you put in here will live for this. This should last through Halloween. Should last a couple of weeks. So the way that I like to work is I like to do my greenery first. I like to create the shape with the greenery. Now, we had a really hard frost in Colorado last week and lost a lot of my garden material, sleeping for the winter, but lamb's ear lives through anything. And so I have some beautiful pieces of lamb's ear, and I'm taking all the funky, kind of dried and frozen part off, and it's going to leave me with a couple of really nice pieces of lamb's ear. And I have one kind of a taller piece as well. Beautiful. And this then is all debris right on the floor. You'll clean up later. Now, I love to use the lamb's ear besides for the texture. Look at the color. That beautiful silver with the orange, it's very beautiful. Give a little snip at the end, put that right in the water. And remember, we're just kind of creating the base for the shape. You want to take off any damaged leaves, like that's a damaged leaf, take it off. And we're going to put this beautiful taller piece in too right away. So the way that I design is any point along the way, I'm pleased with the arrangement. Like I could just have a lamb's ear and pumpkin arrangement. This would be fine. So it's beautiful just the way it is. And then sequentially I'm going to be adding materials. The other thing that lived through the frost in my yard was ivy. It was very hardy. And of course it's fabulous because it has a lot of movement and it has length. I'm going to cut off the part that got frozen. A little bit got frozen there. I still have some really beautiful leaves. Cut off the part that's going to be in the water because you don't want the leaves in the water. You just want the stems in the water. Look at that pretty piece. It has a nice, interesting shape. And I'm just kind of moving around, kind of creating this circular shape because remember, this is a centerpiece. So it's going to be viewed from all sides. So I have some nice, and some people say, well, do you count how many? How much should I put in? I don't count. I just go with the feel of the materials. This is like a more bushy part of the ivy. It's going to create a beautiful core space for me in the center of the arrangement. Oh, well, that's lovely, just like that, right? We have a lot of movement here. A little stuff in there, okay. Silver and green and then orange. Beautiful, just gorgeous. Don't really need anything else. But we are going to put lots more in. So I was out foraging in the neighborhood and I found some amazing rose hips. Oh my God, those are gorgeous. Now rose hips, these are the fruit of a rose bush. Now, of course, you don't want to be cutting in people's yards. That's not a good idea. But this was out on the street, and it was actually hanging over into the street, and I knew that it was going to get hit by cars. So I trimmed it up just a little bit just to get these beautiful rose hips. So I'm going to do a little trimming here, take some of these leaves off, and then, oh my goodness, look how beautiful. When you use berries, anything that has like a little fruit, it's immediately going to give you another texture, and it has a lot of interest. Oh, that's beautiful. And it's also giving you a little bit of a flavor of what's to come later in the fall when all that's left is the berries. You're not going to see that many leaves as winter hits, especially, you know, in the areas where I live. If you live in an area that has winter, you're going to see a lot of berries left on the trees, berries and pods. And I'm just using them, I'm tucking them in. You want to tuck your berries in so they give a lot of interest and they make you want to look into the arrangement. That's where the magic is, like what's happening in there. I'm going to leave a little bit of the rose foliage that looks good, but if it looks funky, I'm going to take it off. Just put a little more in here. And this is my design style I called inside outside, which is you have parts that are coming out of the arrangement and you have little treasures tucked in. That's what really adds the interest. Okay, I have a couple more. So sweet. Oh, they're just beautiful. Yeah. I actually saw these on the street and kind of I put in a mental note to go back and get them because I didn't have time to get them, but I went back and they were there. Okay. Oh, you can see how the arrangement is developing. Oh, isn't that beautiful? It is. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to use, this is a garden chrysanthemum. So I've enjoyed this for quite a few months in my garden, and I'm going to plant it to come back for next year. But these blossoms are going to be gone very soon with the next big frost. So I'm going to trim it. I'll show you how to do that right to the bottom. Just take off a chunk, and then I'm going to use this as the kind of the floral center. So I have a nice little branch, big branch of chrysanthemums. I'm going to take the foliage off and I'm going to trim them up, so I'm going to have a bunch of little stemlets that I'm going to be using as the flowers in this Mums, of course, are the classic fall flower. Would love to see them in, oh, that's beautiful. That's nice because that has a little kind of bend to it. Perfect for a centerpiece. Because remember, if you're sitting down, you're looking at it, what are you looking at in the side? You don't want everything to be just viewed from the top, because when you're sitting down, you have people over for dinner or just enjoying the centerpiece yourself. You want to be able to see things from the side. So you always want to be thinking about that when you're making arrangements. How is it going to be viewed? Oh, lovely. And as you're working on your arrangements, you want to compliment the flowers and yourself, because this is a love project. You're loving the flowers, you're loving the materials, and you're really loving on yourself for spending the time doing some creative work. Beautiful, again, just beautiful, just like that. And then we're going to add this special, very special touch, miraculously. Through the hard frost, some of my asters live, not all of them, but some. And just to add this purple to make it really pop. So remember again to take your foliages off, and this I'm going to make much longer. I'm going to have this kind of coming out because these are very delicate, and they're going to create kind of more of a larger, it's going to make the arrangement larger, but because they're so delicate, they don't really add a lot of bulk. Let's give it a trim. And if you don't like the way something's placed, take it out, trim it again. That's the beauty of flower arrangement. It's really whatever you like. Oh, these are so pretty. Oh, they just make everything just pop. Oh, these are all kind of classic fall colors. The rust color of the mums, the orange of the pumpkin, the lavender purple of the asters, and then that little pop of red with the rose hips. It's pretty exciting. Oh, it's looking fabulous. And there you go. You have your arrangement. Oh, we have one more, couple little more pieces here. And you can keep trimming away, and you can take a big stem and make a lot of little stemlets out of it. You can have like just one sticking out, or like this one has a couple. And we have, oh, how lovely is that? So pretty. Now, I do have a couple of these. This is PG. These are some PG hydrangeas, and these are dried. They're already dried, and I might use a couple of these just down at the base, down in here, just to give the super, oh, look what happens when I put that green in. It really adds a lot of interest, and you don't have to do things symmetrically. You could just put in one of something. That's how nature is. Nature is not in any way symmetrical. I also have some of these are artificial, but they're kind of fun. And maybe we want to put one of these, I like these blossoms on here. So these are wired. So this is what I need my clippers for. The clip here. This is a squash blossom. It's artificial, but it's really cute. You can stick it in there. Again, you want your arrangements to be interesting. So, well, what's in there? I'm going to put another squash blossom on the other side. Okay. Oh, lovely. Here we have your beautiful pumpkin arrangement. And so now I'm going to set the table. And let's just see what this looks like without all the debris. And what would it look like? We set it up and take our tools away. Get our plastic out of the way. maybe we even just put the lid like that. Kind of push it up against there. Have a little, there you go. And oh, I have something else. I have this lovely little plate. I'm going to put this right on the plate. Making it the center of attraction. And then I have this bowl. I have lots of little squashes, gourds. You can make a whole little display. And nothing like the autumn to have like these gorgeous, beautiful gourds. A lot of interest. Oh, well, that is lovely. And there you have your pumpkin arrangement. Thanks for joining me on the Flower Channel. Bring beauty, love, magic into your life with flowers.